this month, what we're talking about, the theme for this month is finding hope and trust in today's world. We've been talking to some of our staff, some of our young adults on staff, and what they've been sharing with us is that there's not a lot of hope and trust in their world today, right? There's so much going on. And so how to find that and to not have a negative view or thrust or opinion. Excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat, so I'm going to invite the ribbit to go out. And, when we look at climate change and the planet and, the political scene and just whatever it is in our own lives, how do we find hope and trust? So we're going to explore that all in the month of November. And today it just happened to be when we made this monthly theme and the weekly themes several months ago, today was about staying positive. And so we've got to stay positive no matter what is up in our life. If we, like Peter said, if we have not reached the goal, the manifestation, what it is that we are expecting. I am expecting this goal to still be met. I haven't been moved from that expectation. And so how to stay positive I call it the gap. It's sort of like when one makes a stand in their life, and this is how I want my life to be, this is how I see my life to be, this is how I feel my life to be, and I'm not quite there yet. How do I stay the course and stay on the road until it literally shows up in reality and actuality? And Ernest Holmes has, the founder of Science of Mind, just has some brilliant things to say about staying positive. So I brought a couple of quotes for us to really be with today. So the first thing he says, rightly approached, positive thinking does not mean aggressiveness or the use of willpower. So it's not like I have to force myself or I have to do this or, it's on my shoulders. Positive thinking is not this like, he uses the word aggressiveness, but it's that force like, I'm just going to push it's not. He says it's not that. Rather, it's a dynamic, affirmative attitude towards life. So I have this affirmative attitude towards life, that the universe is for me. The universe is for my good, that life itself, it works out, that my life works out, that these things work out, that humanity works out, whatever it is. And so it's this attitude, this overarching attitude. And the thing is that we can and do affirm all the time, and it's either for good or he says for ill, right? It's either for good or it's for not. We're affirming something all the time. And we're either saying I can or we're saying I cannot. We're affirming. So this overarching positive attitude towards life is significantly important. And what we need to do, and the work is on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis a lot of times, is to eliminate the negative and accentuate the positive. And in doing that, what we do when we eliminate the negative and we accentuate the positive, we are developing that habit and that attitude of this positive outlook of life unfolding all the time. And I started thinking about this, and I'm like, wait, I love this. It's like eliminate the negative, accentuate the positive. And I asked Petra this morning, I was like, well, isn't there a song called that? Y'all know that? It was like in 1944 for all you youngsters. And I had to look it up. And there's been some incredible people singing that song. I looked it up. It's Johnny Mercer who came up with this, but Bing Crosby sang it. All right, who's Bing fans? Okay, great. Okay, cool. Aretha Franklin has sung this song. Who's some Aretha? Ella Fitzgerald's given her note to it. And Sam Cooke. Well, and I just made a text. And I said, yeah, but can Joe tinker? So, Joe, what you got to say about this?
All right, challenge accepted. Look, I wanted to come sit on the front row for this talk because I spent 22 years in sales and marketing, direct selling on commission, and that's one way to learn this, is to listen to people at these seminars and conferences teach you about the power of positive thinking. And I wanted to be right on this front row. It reminds me of those days. But you know what? Here at CSL Dallas, you're teaching this is effective across the board in all of our lives. It's not just for salespeople. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. You've got to spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium, liable to walk upon the scene. It's liable to walk upon the scene.
Well, first of all, there are very few people I would text at 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday. And he took up that challenge. Thank you, Joe. That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, and he's just like, that song is just spot on. And it's truly what, again, that Ernest Holmes will say. So how do we do this? So he says, automatically, this is how we do it. Automatically, we get rid of the negatives by the implanting of the positives. This is so important. We're not just, we have to plant the positives, right? And so negatives can't exist when positives fill the space. We keep planting the positives and planting the positives, and look at all the great good, for example, in this community, and everyone, like, wow, there's like 4 times as many people here this Sunday than there was last. Oh my God. Woo! I know CSL Dallas is growing and giving and all of that good stuff because of that. And then I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in over 20 months today. Oh my God, I'm planting those positives, right? Y'all can clap for that because I've missed them. Right? And so we're feeling it. Like, negatives can't exist when the positives fill the space, he says. When the sunshine of love and confidence fills your whole being. This is the how. So let that confidence of love and confidence in love just fill your whole being, and the darkness of the negatives must disappear. So we get to use the mind. Okay? I'm not talking about my brain. It's the mind, the universal mind, in a formative and positive way, as often as we choose to. As often as we're conscious that we're doing that. And when we do this, we are using the power of this universal mind that creates everything. Like, knows how to create everything and projects it as we use it. And so as we fill it with the positives, keep filling it with the positives and staying positive, then the universal law does the rest for us. Thank goodness we don't have to do that. I don't have to bring that about, but I do need to keep planting those positive thoughts. And by the way, for all of you people that really love like studies and statistics and all this, I mean, there are just millions of studies about how positive thoughts and positive attitudes and all of that changes and moves as people that are diagnosed with, like, you know, big physical diagnosis. The doctors know in advance how they're probably going to turn out based upon their attitude, their positive attitude with it, right? And there are just multiple psychology studies. It's just all in our university. So this has been proven, right? And then the last one I want to bring in, and this is my favorite one on this topic of Ernest Holmes. I just want you to know that he says the cosmic mind is neither wishy-washy nor willy-nilly. Okay, so remember that. It's just not wishy-washy. It's not willy-nilly. It's positive. This universal presence is certain of itself, and it is sure of the outcome. And what I'm sure of is the outcome of the increased connection, the increased generosity, the increased growth in our own lives and of the lives of this incredible community, CSLDallas, that we celebrate all the good, that it continues to be a positive force for good in the world, and that therefore each of our lives are being transformed. So we can't mix up. We can't be willy-nilly. We can't be wishy-washy. So watch your thoughts and watch if it's mixing up negative and positive. And we want to get a steady stream. We want to what? Do I need to call Joe up here again? We need to do what? Yeah, bring that song up. Your favorite, Ella, Sam, whoever it is, bring it up, listen to it. Joe, right? He's now recorded it. We want to keep a steady state of affirmative consciousness for affirmative results. And I know that we each can do this in our own lives and the lives of this community. So keep the positive of this community and in your own life and all the things that you are striving for and expecting. Stay positive, stay positive, stay positive.